Hello and welcome to video number 6 on the Start My Proposals submission process. This video will go over the budget tab, which also includes a cost share section for applicable proposals. The budget tab in my proposal is much more streamlined than the spreadsheet internal budget you will upload in the attachment section. This just needs to match, and it's the overall amounts per budget period, which is automatically defined as 12-month periods. In order to add those, you will click Add Budget, and it will automatically break it into those budget periods. If it is over a year, under a year, it will still break them up into 12 months and then whatever is left over, or if it's already under 12 months, whatever that duration is. So make sure when calculating your budgets, you have it also broken down into 12-month periods. Your direct costs are going to be those items that are directly calculated on your budget. So it's your salaries, your wages, your equipment, materials, everything that can be easily assigned its specific cost. So if all of those in my budget spreadsheet added up to $100,000, in year one, I would enter that in my direct costs. If it was $10,000 in year two, because it's only 2 months, I would enter that as my direct costs. F&A stands for facilities and administrative costs. These are also called overhead, indirect costs. All of those apply to the same thing. If a sponsor does not specifically limit it, we are required to charge the entire federal negotiated amount, which until the end of fiscal year 27 is going to be 41.2% on a modified set of your direct costs. So if all of my direct costs are assessing F&A at the full value, it would be 41.2% of $100,000 in year one. And then in year two, it would be still 41.2%. And whatever we charge when the award is granted is the same indirect cost that will carry throughout the life of the award. In some cases, cost share is a requirement in order for an award to be considered for funding. That is the only time the university will go through with cost sharing, and then it will only be to the extent necessary to meet the requirements of the sponsor. Everything you are committing in cost share does need to be accounted for in the proposal budget, and if it is coming from your unit, the executive officer responsible for the committed funds will need to provide that approval. Whether it is a contributed effort, a hard match, if it is a soft match, whatever it is, there needs to be a tracking mechanism in place to verify to the sponsor that what you agree to cost share has been cost shared. If there is no cost share, this section does not need to have anything entered or confirmed. When adding cost share, there are several different types. You will select the source type. Contributed effort is salary and fringe not being paid by the sponsor, but is being committed by the principal investigator to the project. Cost share, facilities and administrative could be unrecovered, or it could be a calculated cost share. It might be the indirect costs derived from the institutional costs being committed, or it could be the unrecovered if the sponsor does not allow the full rate to be paid by the sponsor, but they do allow us to contribute as a cost share. A hard match would be institutional costs that are committed, tracked, and reported via a fund or a program code. Other in kind would be institutional costs that are not effort and don't require the commitment of a fund. So it might be donated time on existing equipment. And It might be a third-party entity. This could be a non-cash contribution by a third party, and if this is selected, documentation of their support and certification of the fair market value is required to commit this type of cost sharing. If you are contributing effort, you do need to say how much effort is being contributed, what unit is contributing it, and which individual is the contributor. And then if it is mandatory, obviously we're going to do it to the extent required by the sponsor, as long as it does not conflict with any of our policies. And typically voluntary cost share, we're going to look at with a lot more scrutiny, as if it's not required, what is the benefit to the university to volunteer it? And really, that's what the budget and cost sharing comes down to. So we will see you in the next video about approval and access.